What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Super 7 Power Rangers Ultimates Wave 2 figures of the Dragonzord and King Sphinx. So both of these look really cool. I decided to get these. Of course, I want the Zords because I think they're really cool. Liked having the T-Rex Zord, so now having the Dragonzord looks really cool. So he looks pretty awesome there. It comes with different hand accessories. Of course, a little Green Ranger figure and the Power Coin up there. So that all looks really cool for the Dragonzord. And we'll go ahead and spin the box around just so you can see the back. So we have a picture of the Dragonzord and just a little layout of the story there for it. So that all looks pretty cool, and Dragonzord looks awesome, so I have to compare that to the T-Rex and everything. And then we also got King Sphinx. So like I said, I decided to get these because I like the Zords, so I got the Zords. And then I wanted to compare this King Sphinx to the Lightning Collection one because I don't think that one was perfect. So I was like, well, maybe I'll try this King Sphinx, compare them, and see which one I like better. So we'll do that. But I don't like their Power Rangers, so that's why I only get like certain things like the Zords for sure I always get. And then depending on what villains they have to offer, I get as well. But I don't care about their Rangers or anything. But I think this King Sphinx looks really cool. I love the look of him and everything. So yeah, I definitely want to compare him to Lightning Collection to see which one I think is better. So we'll have to do that. And then just for his box, we'll spin around and see his picture with his little story breakdown there as well. So both of these look really cool, and I'm excited to open them and check them out. So let me get them out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with King Sphinx, who made his first appearance in Season 1, Episode 4, a pressing engagement, where he was sent by Rita to separate Jason from the other Rangers so he could destroy him. And when Jason, Kimberly, and Zack arrived to fight King Sphinx flapped his wings to blow Kimberly and Zack back to the juice bar, and then King Sphinx teleported him and Jason to the desert, where Goldar ended up joining in their fight, until eventually the other Rangers were able to come in with the Megazord and defeat King Sphinx in the giant mode. So he looks pretty cool here. Now, I've been spending a lot of time looking at pictures of him online just to see comparison wise, because I got this because obviously we've had the Lightning Collection version, and I'll bring that in to show comparison, but we've had that version, and then I saw when this was coming out, I'm like, oh, that looks pretty cool. You know, has more details, designs, you know, on the body and stuff, because the Lightning Collection was pretty basic and everything. But I've been looking at pictures to see, you know, does it look accurate, you know, which one's more accurate, which one do I like more, that whole sort of thing. And it's really hard to decide. Of course, there is a big price difference, so this one costs, let's say, double the price or at least close to it and stuff. So it's hard to tell, do you want to spend that much more money for a figure that's, I'd say, a little bit more accurate, but it's still hard to tell exactly how accurate it is. They're both really close. Obviously, this one has a little bit more details with paint and stuff that we'll go over, but I still think he looks pretty cool, and it's a bigger figure. So when I bring that other one in, you'll see how tall it is and stuff, and then I'll bring in a Lightning Collection figure to show you how tall it is. But I think he looks really cool. There is some minor issues with this. Like, one minor thing, since it is a Super 7, is it has like single knees and elbows and stuff, so you don't get much range. But that's why I made the concession to buy these for like the monsters and stuff, because with monsters you don't need a whole lot of range of movements and stuff. So it's like, I don't really care how limited he is, as long as he does have some movements and can like hold weapons and stuff. So that's all I really care about. So I was going more for like accuracy and stuff. And then I do have a minor issue with one of the joints. That's just a minor issue thing. But overall, I think he looks really cool. So it's King Sphinx, so he's based off like Egyptian stuff. So he has a lot of hieroglyphics. So up on his shoulders, on his chest, around, like he's got an ankh there, and then some other like hieroglyphics around on his skirting and everything. And then he's got like the pharaoh hat on, and then he is a sphinx, so he's got like the humanoid tiger or lion or whatever and stuff. So he's got the face, you know, it looks like a cat with the red eyes, the mouth open with all the crazy teeth there, and then he has like the Egyptian like beard thing coming down and stuff, which is cool. And then up on his hat, he's got the cobra up there, which is pretty cool, going out to the shoulder pads where he's got the yellow with green underneath, and again hieroglyphics on those. And then his main body, which is mostly all gray, but it has like a sort of green wash over it in areas, and like some darkness around the joints and stuff. He has like this loincloth piece on, again with some Egyptian stuff around it, going to the tail in the back all the way down to his feet, where he has like some knee pads there in gold color, and then his sharp pointed toes there. So that's pretty cool with those claws. And then same for his hands there. So I think he looks really cool, and like I said, it looks, you know, pretty similar to what he does in the show. But like I said, it's hard like comparison wise between this and Lightning Collection, which one I like more, because each has an aspect I like more than the other. But overall, I think he looks pretty cool. So that's like the biggest thing with this. But we'll do his movement. So his head can twist around and move a little. So because of how big it is and coming down on the shoulders and stuff, it doesn't really move too much. So it can twist side to side and then rock back and forth a little. So you just get a little bit of movement there. Then we go out to the shoulders. Now, unfortunately, this one has a thing that once you get too far, it just pops right out. So the joint doesn't hold on too well. Any other time, it's like, you know, just fine. Like in that position, it stays in just fine. But yeah, we can get it up to 90. Yeah, that one does it too. So it must just be something with the joint that once you get so far, it just pops right out. But it can also twist around. So it can twist around, should be able to twist all the way around. down, but with this shoulder pad, it kind of gets in the way. So we have that issue. And then we get a bicep twist, and again, the single elbow joints that just been there, not even to 90, and has some rotation. But as I said, for me, I don't really care much about the limitations as long as he can, like, bend at least that far and hold a weapon. That's all I care about. But then we get the wrist that'll twist around, and it's hard to see on these hands because they're like down in the joints there, but it does have the joint to be able to rock back and forth. Like I said, it's really hard, but it can move back and forth there. Then we go to the ab crunch, which is for me the other biggest issue with this figure is the crunch is just so loose, so he easily just like flops back and forth. Like usually I can do like this, put him in the position, and he'll stay just fine. But if you do little movements, he'll like fall backwards or forwards and stuff. So a little bit too loose in the ab crunch there, but with that can also twist all the way around and of course hinge side to side. And then we also have a little bit of like crunching at the waist, so it can crunch a little and twist around at the waist as well. Then we get the hips that can come up pretty close to 90, especially if you twist it out a little, can get over to 90, and then out to the side that far. We do have a thigh twist and the single knee joint that can bend back, again, under 90 there. So again, not the best, but again, I don't really need it to bend too much, and there is some rotation in that as well in the lower joint. And then we go down to the feet that can rock back and forth and twist side to side, and pretty sharp with those claws, so you gotta be careful there. And then around on the back we have the tail, so it can hinge back and forth and twist all the way around. So the movements aren't horrible. Like I said, for me the biggest issue is in the ab crunch there. Like I said, there are some other issues, like with the arms popping out once you get so high, but otherwise they just stay in perfectly, can move wherever. It's just when you get so high they just pop right out for some reason. So that's really the only issue. Like I said, for me the biggest issue is that ab, just because like I said, barely move it and he kind of flops back and forth, but you can still just get him standing in a certain position. So like I said, he has a lot of limitations, especially compared to the Lightning Collection. That figure has much better range of movement, but also for a big monster I don't need a whole lot of range. So like I said, this is perfectly fine for me. Now we get a number of accessories. So first we get an additional head. So when I got this, I'm like, there's barely any difference. So I finally realized the main difference is that the mouth is open a little bit more, so you can see all the teeth and stuff in there, and so the eyes are a little bit squinted more. So that's really the only difference. So I'm like, that's not enough difference to throw in a whole extra head, but it is what it is. Not like it matters that we have an extra head. It's just, it's not enough difference. Then he comes with some additional hands. So we get hands with like a little bit open, I would say like trigger fingers, because the fingers are out more there, but just more open like claws and stuff. So we get that set of hands we can switch out. And then we get sets of grip hands that we can use. So we get a set of grip hands, and like usual we've had with the Thundercats, we get these grip hands that have hinge up and down joints, and then we also get grip hands with the hinge back and forth joints. So we get those hands we can all choose from. Of course, with King Sphinx, one of his most iconic things is that he's got wings, so we get a set of wings here. Now obviously for this one, what makes it really different is there are a lot of colors and brightness to the wings, which I did looking at pictures. There is this design on the wings, it's just much more grayed out, at least by pictures I saw from it. So it's not nearly as bright, but it still has this detail and stuff. So it's like this, but if you like put just like gray wash over it, so it wasn't bright at all. But I think that'll look really cool, like add a pop of color. So let's try and put these wings in his back. So there's those wings on him now. Like I said, it does add that pop of color with it, and I think looks pretty cool. Now of course the biggest issue is that having that on now, especially having position, he easily does just fall back there, so that is going to be an issue. But if you get him leaned forward like that, he stays pretty well. So it doesn't seem major as of yet, but like I said, if you get him in that wrong position, he'll just fall back like that. So that could be an issue, so that's something we have to watch out for. Now with the wings, they do hinge in here. Now you see on the back they do have this red color as well, which is kind of weird. Like when I saw stuff from the show, they were just all gray on the back, so it's weird they added this red color. It almost looks like they're stained in blood or something. Like, I love the pop of color, it's just I don't think it's accurate. So with the wings, they do have some movement, so you can move them back and forth there, and then they do hinge in and out. So obviously you could do like the wing flap stuff, so you can just adjust them and get them wherever you want there. But like I said, I think I like the look because it adds a nice pop of color to them as well. So that looks pretty cool. And finally for him, we get the Sphinx scepter, which is like a big crux or whatever we call it. So it has the big hook on it there. I love the little things dangling down, and then just all blue staff with the yellow crook up top. So that looks pretty cool. We'll have to switch out his hands to be able to put in, because he just got the fist hands on now. So let me go and switch those hands out. So there I got the Sphinx scepter in his hand, so I just put it in his grip hand there, and then switch out his other hand for the pointing hand. So I think overall he looks really cool. I love having those wings because it just adds a really nice pop of color to him, makes it stand out even more. So I really like that. But like I said, it's kind of making it even worse now because he keeps falling backwards like that. So it's something I'll have to work out with, and like I said, decide which one I do like more. And speaking of that, we'll go ahead and bring in that Lightning Collection version. So here is that. So you can see there is a height difference, which isn't really surprising, especially for Super 7 stuff. So there is a height difference between the two, and then you can see the color changes. Now this one, the color wise, is more accurate. It's more of this color than it is this one, but I don't really have too much issues with it. I do overall overall like the headpiece design for the Lightning Collection one. I think it's got a lot more details. It looks very much, I'd say, more realistic, where this one just looks like a piece of plastic they just kind of, cut some shape out of and stuff. So I do love that design on the Lightning Collection. Of course, the wings, like I said, don't have all the details and stuff compared to the colors, which, like I said, there is some color. They're not just all gray like this, but it's not like it's that big of an issue. Now, this one does have all the hieroglyphics and stuff in on it, especially up on the shoulder pads and stuff. They're just not painted like it is on this new one. And then, of course, the crook doesn't have some of the stuff painted on it there. And then the biggest issue that I have with the Lightning Collection is that, again, the ankles are weak, which happens with a lot of the monsters. So I do have an issue getting him to stand up. So like when I put him on a shelf, I always have to have him lean back a little against a wall, because if not, he'll fall over. So that is an issue, which of course I'm kind of dealing with the same thing here. No issues with the ankles. The ankles and feet hold up fine, and they, can hold up this body. It's just that ab crunch is now the only thing that's causing me issues. So if it wasn't for that, this would be perfect. But like I said, it's really hard to decide. Like, you could take stuff and paint up the Lightning Collection one a little, and it would be perfect as well. So it's really hard to decide, but I think I'm leaning more towards the Super 7 now, especially that I have the wings on it, just because I think I love the pop of color that it adds to it, makes it stand out more. And of course, if you're wanting to add it into your Lightning Collection or use it like I'm going to, you can bring in, so here we have the Red Ranger, so they can fight off. Of course, he is really big, which, the monster should be a little bit bigger, but I feel he's, really big. So that may be a minor issue, just the size, overall is way too big, but I think it looks pretty cool. Nice size comparison there, so it makes it a nice monster size, which is cool. But overall, I think he looks awesome. Like I said, minor issues, the biggest thing being that ab crunch, unfortunately, but overall, I just think he looks amazing just with the colors and everything that they did for him. So I really like this version. And then we also have the Dragonzord, which made his first appearance in Season 1, Episode 21, Green with Evil Part 5. And it's the Zord controlled by the Green Ranger that lays dormant in the sea off the coast of Angel Grove until it's called into action by playing the Dragon Dagger. And it's first used to fight against the Megazord while Tommy was under the spell of Rita. But when the spell is broken and Tommy ends up joining the Rangers, it then aids the Megazord in combats against monsters and joins together with the Megazord and stuff. But obviously, this one's just an action figure, so no coming apart or anything for it. But overall, I think it looks pretty cool. Of course, looks pretty accurate. Looks just like the Dragonzord, so nothing too strange or anything out of the normal for it. It just obviously doesn't do any transforming or come apart or anything like that. So it's just the Dragonzord as it is. Now, again, issues, I think it looks really cool, but there are some issues again with movement, especially in the abs. So I don't know what it is with the Super 7s having issues with the abs and stuff, but overall, I think it does look really cool. So it looks awesome. So he does have the whole head spike up here. It's hard to get it to fit in the camera. So it has the whole head spike up there, which is cool. I love the green with the silver up here. That looks awesome going into the head of the Dragonzord. So it has a mouth that can open and close, but nice red eyes in there. And then we have the big body, like the big main section that usually, comes out for the Zord and stuff, but looks pretty cool with all the lights that usually light up and the green down the center. We have the gold off to the side. It looks pretty nice with the green details on that, and around at the back just looks pretty basic. Then we got the little arms here. We got the arms with the hands. So I love how the hands look pretty cool, where they shoot the missiles and stuff, but the thumbs look weird because of how thick they are compared to the other fingers. So that looks odd. And then going down the waist, we have the Zoo Ranger logo, so the Z design stuff, so that's cool. And then has the green and gold design around the waist there. Going to the hips, where we have the Dragonzord logo on the side, the little feet design. They're mostly all black up on the upper thighs, transitioning to the silver, where we have the logo once again, and then the 3-toed feet there on the bottom. And of course, finally, the tail hanging off the back here with the drill tip on the end of it. So that all looks pretty cool, but like I said, pretty basic and stuff, but it's just, supposed to be a big action figure, so it's nothing really surprising here. Like I said, there's just some minor issues getting it to stand, especially with the tail, so it always wants to pull it back and stuff. So you just got to find and get it in that right position once again. But we'll do the movement. So again, with this, there's not going to be a whole lot. There's no, the head doesn't move or anything. We just do get some movement at the abs, so it can twist all the way around there and then crunch back and forth like that. We do get some arm movement. It doesn't really do too much. The arms can move up and down at what would be the shoulder or whatever there, so just up and down. And then the wrist can twist around there and usually flex a little back and forth. So we get that movement. It's like I already showed, the mouth does move. We can go to the hips, so the hips do come up, especially kind of twist them out to the side. You can get them a little bit there, so maybe up to 90 with that, but they just move a little bit back and forth, and of course out to the side a little, so you get that much movement. Then we do have a knee joint, doesn't really move too much, but can rock back and forth there, so a little bit of movement, and there is some twist in it as well. And then we go down to the feet that can rock back and forth and twist side to side. And of course, finally, we have the tail on the back, so we do have some joints between all these things, so they do move back and forth and side to side, and then can twist around down as well. So we have that in each of the different segments there. I think all the way up to here is where it ends, because I don't think the tip of this whole section moves there, but everything else does move, so you can adjust and get it however you want there. So overall, I think it looks pretty cool. Like I said, I do have some issues with like the abs once again, so it's kind of like always falling backwards and stuff, like the upper section, not the whole thing, because it's pretty wide with the feet there and the tail and stuff, so the bottom's not going anywhere. It just keeps leaning back like that, which is kind of annoying, but if you just get it worked out, it'll stand right in place. And overall, I think it does look really cool. So for like a big action figure, I think it's pretty awesome, but like I said, it could also maybe be a little bit better. Now, accessory wise, we don't get a whole lot, because there's not a whole lot to do. We do get some extra hands though, so we get hands in fist mode, so if you don't want to have like the open hands there, so we get the fist mode, which I always thought was weird. I'm like, what the heck is this big thing? That then I realized it's the thumb from that, so it's kind of weird with that design. But we get a set of fists. What's really cool is we get the hands with the missiles, so we have the missiles loaded up so they can be shooting out, so that would look pretty cool. And then from that, we also get hands with the missiles shooting out, so we can have those firing out as well, so that is pretty cool with the different missiles there. So that is really cool. We can pop those hands off and put these on instead. Of course, they'll be really big and obtrusive, but I think that looks pretty cool. And then like the T-Rex Zord we got before, we get a little ranger that go with it, so we have our little Tommy or Green Ranger figure, so that looks pretty cool. Not a whole lot of details like paint wise and stuff, but it does look like the Green Ranger. And of course, we can just like take and set that up on the shoulder or whatever you want there. And finally, it comes with the Dragon Power coin as well, so get this nice thick metal coin that's really nice and heavy. So we have the Dragonzord logo on there, the three-toed foot, and on the back we have the Z for the Zoo Ranger logo, so that looks pretty cool. Of course, that big coin, not what they actually look like or anything, but still pretty cool. I loved it with the T-Rex, so having one for the Dragonzord as well is awesome. So that is everything it comes with, which with the Zord being so much bigger and stuff, it kind of makes sense it doesn't come with a whole lot. But like the T-Rex, I was kind of happy with and stuff. I thought it was really cool and liked it and stuff. Where the Dragonzord, I'm just kind of like, it's just okay. Like, it's not the coolest thing ever, but I don't really know what more to expect. Like I said, besides like better joints, I don't really know what could be better or improved with this. It's got just about everything I could think of and stuff, so I don't really know what's different between them. But with that, we can go and bring in that T-Rex Zord just so we can see height, not too much difference. So it's in the show, especially when Tommy's bad, they do fight with each other and stuff, so it's cool. Of course, I do have his legs a little bit crunched there, so he could be a little bit taller. So pretty much the exact same size between the Dragonzord and the T-Rex, which like I said, both look really cool, and I was really happy with the T-Rex. And so like I said, I don't know what's with the Dragonzord, but yeah, I think they both look really cool. At least just something's off about this Dragonzord that doesn't make me like it as much. And just for a more official comparison, here is the Bandai Legacy version of the Dragonzord. So this is the one I always have on display and stuff. So you can see there's not a whole lot of difference like size-wise. They're just very small difference size-wise, and then look and design, everything's pretty similar design-wise. Just obviously this one's a Zord that can, transform and all that sort of stuff. So not a whole lot of difference. So again, I don't really know why I'm not like very happy with this figure. Like I said, I don't hate it. It's not that. It's just I'm not as excited for it as I was when I like pre-ordered everything. I don't know if, like I said, it just has to do with the joints or what, but because like everything looks perfect, comes with all the stuff I would want and everything. There's just like something magical missing about it or something. And with that, that's going to be it for our Super 7 Power Rangers Ultimates Dragonzord and King Sphinx. So both of these, like I said, I do like them. There's not a whole lot of wrong with them. Like the King Sphinx, like I said, I really like. I'll probably try to use this in my collection. I'll just have to see how much he bends back and forth with having those wings on. But like I said, adding those wings made me put it over the top just because I love that pop of color on it. I think it just looks really cool. But like I said, it does have issues, so it's not perfect. And then the Dragonzord, like I said, looks really good. It's like I said, comparison-wise, it's almost perfect in every way. There's just something off about it that just doesn't make me like it as much as I was hoping to. But with this comparison here too as well, you can see you can have like, the Dragonzord and King Sphinx fighting against each other. I feel King Sphinx should be just a little bit bigger, to be a more like show accurate wise, where the giant monsters fight against the Zords and stuff. So he seems a little bit too short to be able to do that, but it's still not that big of an issue. And like I said, I'm using him more for like the Lightning Collection, so it doesn't really matter if he's smaller like that. But like I said, both are really cool. Both aren't perfect, but they're pretty darn accurate figures and come with a lot of good accessories. So like I said, it's hard to really complain about these when they're as good as they are. But let me know your opinion of them down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.